4. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Janelle Sequira, back with another video, and as you can see, I have a special guest.
Hi guys, my name is Jaleesa. My Instagram is Styled by Ja. I am her hairstylist for the hair that's underneath this.
I'm a little rough right now, but you know, we'll just gloss over that. So yes, this is my stylist, the one that I'm always talking about, the one that I'm sending you guys to. I hear that you guys are actually going to her, so shout out to y'all.
Oh my god, thank you guys for coming. I love it. I love you guys so much.
And thank you for trusting me, because wow, I had no idea that you guys would actually like be showing up at her spot. So
they love you for real. It's kind of wild.
I just wanted to take a second out to properly introduce my friend Jaleesa here, because I did not do a good job. Jaleesa is a natural hairstylist based in South Florida. She has over 3 years of experience in the hair game. She is a licensed cosmetologist. She has experience working with all different hair types, but she focuses mainly on Afro textured hair. And she is super talented, very knowledgeable, and awesome. That's why I had to bring her on here to you guys today. So back to the video.
So today, actually, what was I gonna say? I actually didn't really plan this out as much as I should have, but I got the general. We're winging it. So a few weeks ago, maybe months ago at this point, I put out a video called "The LOC Method is Canceled." Yes, the title was a little bit clickbaity, but like I have to get the clicks, so I apologize. But the video was basically talking about how a lot of stylists and a lot of information has been coming out about how it's not so necessary for us to be piling on all of these different products on top of our hair, the oils, the creams, the butters, all of that stuff that we have been told is like necessary for our hair, especially as high porosity naturals. It's not exactly necessary. So there was a lot, an overwhelming amount of comments from you guys, mostly positive, some skeptical, and others that were just like, yeah, I'm going to continue to do what works for my hair, which, you know, that's great. That's fine. I was just bringing the information out to y'all. So I wanted to bring my stylist on here to give you guys a little bit more insight into the situation, because I am not a professional. I just bring the information to y'all, but I get it from her. So
no pressure.
So I just wanted to get her on here to give her some 2 cents. We're going to go through some of the comments that you guys left on the video, and she's going to give you guys some more information on all that. So yeah, if you're interested, keep on watching. Before we get started though, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit that bell button so you're notified every single time I post a new video. If you're interested in beauty and lifestyle content, let's get into it. Well, first of all, Jaleesa, I want to ask, oh boy. What are your thoughts on the whole situation? Can you give the people the why the LOC method, the LCO method, isn't necessary for everyone? Why might it be detrimental? You know, what's your 2 cents?
It's like a general overview.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give you facts, right? The fact is oil and water do not mix together. That's why when you eat like Italian salad dressing, you shake the bottle and it looks like it mixes together, but when you leave it, eventually it separates and the oil is sitting on top, right? The oil sits on top. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to hair. Oil does have a purpose. It has its uses, and we'll get to that, I think, later on in the video. I'll try to explain it. But as a general rule of thumb, when it comes to hydrating your hair and wanting to get moisture and water into your hair, oil oftentimes acts as a barrier, right? So let's say your hair is already dry, you say it's already dehydrated, it's already in bad condition, and you're trying to moisturize it. You do a pre-poo of some type with an oil-based moisturizer, or just straight up oil, shea butter, coconut oil, whatever, because it helps you detangle. Oil does have detangling properties to it. I guess it helps because it makes your hair slippery, but it's literally creating a barrier over your hair that makes it almost impossible for water to get into your hair. So your hair is dehydrated, and during the week, instead of washing it, you say, I'm going to put oil on my scalp, be it castor oil, shea butter, coconut oil, jojoba oil, whatever. Instead of putting water on your hair, you put oil on your hair. That's one thing. Then you go throughout the week, you sweat, you put other products in your hair, you have environmental factors, and then you come to wash your hair now. And a lot of times people don't know how to wash their hair properly, or they're using a shampoo that's not strong enough to get all of that oil and product buildup off of their hair. So they wash it, they don't get all that product off, and then they get out of the shower and they immediately put more oil on top of their hair. So it's like dehydration covered by oil, not properly washed, and then covered in oil again. And a lot of times people will say, you know, I use oil in my hair and it's soft, it feels soft. And of course it feels soft because oil is a lubricant. So it makes your hair feel slippery. It gives you that slip that you need. But on a molecular level, you're not actually hydrating anything. You're just making it smooth and shiny. And, you know, I understand that's like hard for people to accept, I guess, or it's a little bit difficult, I think, to understand. It sounds simple, but it's definitely something that's a little bit more complicated, I guess, to understand, but hopefully I'll explain it better.
So what's the alternative?
The alternative, y'all, is very simple. It's very simple. Go with me. Wash your hair. People don't like to hear it. They want it to be more confusing than that. There has to be like some magic product or like magic method to get your hair hydrated. Literally, wash it. Your hair wants water. Your hair, I like to tell people to consider their hair a plant, to consider their hair the way they do the inside of their bodies. When you're thirsty or when your plant is dying, you don't spray oil on it. You don't drink vegetable oil when you're thirsty. You drink water. For the same reasons why when you're thirsty and you drink juice, it doesn't satisfy you. And when you drink soda, it doesn't satisfy you. But when you drink water, you feel like awake. It makes you feel a lot better. It's the same thing for your hair. In general, the cleansing and conditioning process is what gets the hydration into your hair, because shampoo acts as an agent that raises the cuticle of the hair and allows moisture to get into it. And then conditioner closes the cuticle of the hair and helps to seal that moisture in. When your hair is dry, when your scalp is itchy, if you feel like your hair is dull, if your hair is brittle, I would encourage you to kind of examine how often you wash your hair and how well you wash your hair, and just the whole process of shampooing. Like it's very possible that you don't know how to wash your hair properly and that you don't wash it enough. In general, on average, we'd say 7 to 10 days. But some people, especially at the beginning of their hair care journey, your hair is dehydrated, so it's going to need water more often. The water is going to evaporate out of your hair more often. So some people, you know, some of my clients have to wash their hair every 3 days. Some people have to do it every 5 days. Some people get to do it every 7 because their hair is in better condition. It can definitely be an inconvenience. It can definitely be frustrating sometimes to have to wash your hair as much. But I would say, especially at the beginning of your hair journey, I would recommend just listening to what your hair wants. And if it just so happens that you have to wash your hair every 3 or 4 days for the first few weeks, then just do that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. That was great. Okay, so right now, since she gave us the nice little overview and the alternatives and all that good stuff, okay, so what I'm doing is going through the comments of the video, because there was, like I said, a lot of comments. You guys really, y'all ate that video up, okay? So, and there was a lot of mostly positive feedback, but there was some skepticals. There was some people who were, you know, kind of pushing back against it. Not a lot. And a few people that were just like, well, you know, what works for your hair might not work for mine, which kind of is like the whole, I felt like it's kind of the point, you know, like I feel like at this point in the natural hair journey, and maybe I shouldn't just assume that everyone knows this, but like what works for one may not work for the other. I say that all the time on my channel. So nothing I say is, you know, cut and dry. Again, I'm not a stylist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not anything like that. I am just a girl who knows how to do her hair well. So I try to, you know, take any new information that comes and apply it to my hair. So, you know, some videos that I have from like 2 years ago, I would gag at the things that I was doing to my hair. I leave them up there just so we can see, you know, the progression or whatever. But yeah, so nothing I say is you know, written in stone. I'm not telling anyone what they should or should not be doing. I just be giving my opinion and what I find is working for my hair. So
before you continue, you said something that I want to kind of springboard off of. You said you have videos from a couple years ago that if you watch them now, you would be horrified at what you were doing, right? It's the same thing with professional hair care. I would say the natural hair movement itself is, I want to say, you could say like late 90s, early 2000s is when it really started to take off. And in that, there has been decades, just decades of misinformation and of people, you know, Black people especially, we do the best that we can with what we have for our hair. And I think in general, as it comes to hair care, we as a community could do a little better with being more open to just trying new things. I understand that we are all very attached to our oils. We're very attached to our butters. You know, it's cultural for us. You know, your grandma used to grease your scalp. Your auntie would grease your scalp. You know, we all had the bottle of Luster's pink lotion and Blue Magic and Dax. Like, I grew up on Dax. Like, when I think about Dax and the smell of Dax, I think about my childhood. But there was also a point in time when, you know, before relaxers were made into relaxers, people were putting just straight lye out of the bottle onto their scalps to straighten their hair. Life progresses, things change, and more information is given every day. So yes, there may have been a time where we believed that oil was the end all be all to caring for our hair and moisturizing our hair, but it's also been 30 plus years. So I would just say, as it comes to hair care and trying new things and hearing all of this information, I understand that it can be scary. It can be a little bit annoying. I know some stylists are but can appear abrasive when they're giving that information. But I would just encourage people to just try. Just listen to the information that's being given, because a lot of the information that's online about hair care is given for free, when in truth it shouldn't be, because I paid to learn what I learned about hair. And all of the other stylists that I know paid to get the education that we have. And a lot of us give this information away for free out of love and concern and just a general care for other Black women. And we want to see you guys have an easier time taking care of your hair. To just accept that you may have been doing something wrong for your entire life, it can be a lot. But I would just encourage people to just give it a shot. Like, it's not going to kill you to not put oil in your hair for a couple of weeks and just wash your hair once a week or every 5 days. Like, it literally will not hurt you. Just buy a good quality shampoo and conditioner, set the oils to the side for like a month or two, and just give it a shot. And then if you don't like it, go back to what you were doing. But at least, you know, try.
And hear me out. If you try it and your hair's not doing, you know, it's not giving what's supposed to have gave, you can buy a wig from Zero Gravity Hair Company, slap that bad boy on, and go about your day. Just a shameless plug.
Also recommend, as a plug for myself and just stylists in general. So me as a stylist on YouTube, on my friend's YouTube, telling you to stop using oil in your hair, there's also other things that you have to do that I wouldn't be able to give general advice for. So I would also recommend you partnering with a natural hairstylist or a texture hair specialist in your area. Use Instagram, use Facebook, use hashtags. Find somebody, do your due diligence in your research, and find a stylist that caters to your hair type and partner with them. I would say anywhere from 6 months to a year, especially if you don't know what you're doing at all. Just dedicate some consistency with a professional and some consistency at home, and just give yourself a chance to maybe try something new and see what happens.
All right, so back to the comments. So first comment that we're going to address is,
oh boy,
your hair is not our hair, laughing emoji. What works for you isn't 100% general. Okay.
Duh. And I don't even mean that to be rude, but like, duh. Like, of course it's not one size fits all, but there are general rules to hair that are across the board. And one of the general rules is that oil is not a moisturizer. I'm going to say that multiple times throughout the course of this video because it's just the truth. Oil is not a moisturizer. Oil does not hydrate. Oil lubricates. Oil makes your hair slippery. Oil acts as a barrier between water and your skin. It acts as a barrier between oil and your hair. It just is what it is. That's why when you go and you put, like, say you put a body butter on, you get like a nice whipped shea butter and you put it on your skin, and then you go and you hop in the pool and you get out and the water bead rolls off of your skin. It's because oil and water don't mix, because oil is not a hydrator.
So what would you say? So, okay, for the LOC method, right? The oil is supposed to seal the moisture in, is what the whole idea was.
Okay.
What do you have to say about that?
it is an unnecessary step, because when you wash your hair, so in general, you have your hair, and you will say, for lack of a better term, this is your hair. And when you wash your hair and you put shampoo on it, it raises the cuticle. So it's almost like your hair opens up to accept the water. And that's the whole shampoo process. You rinse, all that good stuff. You squeeze the hair in, you smooth your hair out, and you make sure it's nice and wet and weighed down. Conditioner closes the cuticle back and also adds some shine and conditioning agents to your hair, but that is what seals your cuticle down. Adding oil to your hair doesn't necessarily help seal oil in, because either way you put it, water evaporates. And adding oil to your hair doesn't help the water evaporate from within the structure of your hair. It doesn't help the water evaporate any slower. The water's still going to evaporate regardless, because that's what water does. What oil does do is, again, create a barrier on your hair, so then when you go to wash it, especially if you're not using a good quality shampoo, or you're not using a shampoo that is strong enough to get all of that oil and buildup off, it prevents the water from the next time you wash your hair from getting into your hair. So it's almost like it can be counterproductive in a lot of cases, especially for those of you who use very thick, very heavy oils and butters like castor oil and like raw shea butter and raw coconut oil and things like that.
Dropping LOC and LCO, okay. Simplifying the routine, sure. But using only shampoo, conditioner, and gel will not work for me. I do a modified LCO, shampoo, conditioner, or deep conditioner, alternate weekly, leave-in conditioner on the hair, oil on the scalp.
I am not opposed to leave-in conditioners. I'm not. I definitely think that's, and this is just me personally, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of stylists that disagree. I think depending on where you are with your hair and the condition that it's in, a leave-in conditioner can definitely help. I would say a lot of people don't like the shampoo condition gel method, because if your hair is in a more dehydrated state, or if it's in a more like damaged state, because there's different levels of damage, just using a gel for the first few weeks or the first couple of times, it'll end up frizzy. You won't get the same finish as you would if you use a leave-in conditioner or oil. And in my experience, that's just because your hair isn't quite as used to just existing in its natural form because of high manipulation styles, or using a lot of oil, or just being excessively dry. I will say there's definitely a process to get to the point where your hair looks perfect by your standards by just shampooing, conditioning, and using one or two stylers. It definitely takes a process. So I would say at first, if you want to use a leave-in conditioner, you can do that. Some of my clients I do use a leave-in with as well, just because it helps their hair. But eventually we get to a point where I transition them out of using a leave-in, and we only use a gel, because they've been consistent with the products that I recommend for them, and they're consistent with keeping up with their hair care. I would just say overall, it just, maybe you're not there yet in your hair care, but it is a journey, because I think getting your hair to a dehydrated state, it took you some time to get there. It may have taken you your whole life to get there, which means it's going to take you some time to get to a place where your hair is healthy enough to do the ideal styling of just washing, conditioning, and using one product. It definitely takes some time and a lot of patience.
So here's another comment. Beautiful hair. Thank you very much, by the way. I know this is going to make people angry, but it's just my perception. I would not really say this is Afro textured hair. I believe she's referring to my very kinky hair. Neither good nor a bad thing, just a thing. I think the LOC method can more benefit someone with a more coily, tighter hair type, and can totally see why it does nothing good for her hair. Referring to me.
Okay, so like I said before, hair care and getting your hair to a healthy place takes time, right? So when I first started doing Janelle's hair, I was fresh out of hair school, and you know, she being my friend was like, do you want to use my hair as a canvas? And I was like, sure, let's do it. And at the time, if I knew what I knew now, I would say I wouldn't have colored her hair as aggressively as I did, because it wasn't in a healthy state. But like I mentioned before, you know, the same way you guys are learning as just the consumer or the client, me as a stylist, as a new stylist at the time, and someone who's more experienced now, it's all a learning curve. There, you know, every day you pick up something new. So I would say even before we started coloring her hair, there was a video that you did where people were just adamant about you not having type 4 hair because of whatever different factors. And I can say for you with your hair, when I first started doing it, it didn't really have much of a curl to it. It was more like wiry and like zigzaggy and wavy, and it wouldn't hold a curl. And that was back when you were using a bunch of oils and butters and stuff like that on your hair. And I would say over the last like 2 years or so, year and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
I finally convinced her to stop doing that. And her hair is completely different now. Like she actually has ringlets. And it's because her hair is simply not dehydrated anymore. So I think that a lot of times with black hair and tighter textures, we've been conditioned to think that our hair can't curl, or because we have 4C hair that we can't have ringlets, or it can't lay smooth, or it can't be shiny, or it can't be soft to the touch. And that's not the case at all. The truth is, a lot of us, myself included, because I'm bald headed now, but I used to have a bunch of hair. You can scroll back on my Instagram if you don't believe me. A lot of us have dehydrated hair, and that's just the fact. That's just the basis, bottom line. We have dehydrated hair. We spend years, decades, however long, covering it with oil, trying to hydrate it and moisturize it, trying to do these twist outs and these styles that don't last, and these co-washes and refusing to put shampoo in your hair. There was like a 9-month period where I didn't shampoo my hair because somebody on YouTube told me that shampoo was bad for my hair. And now that I've gone and gotten the education and I've spent the last 3 years and change doing hair, it's the stupidest thing in the world to me, because it's like, that would be like somebody telling you not to use soap on your body. Why would you do that? Anyway, but to get back to the point.
Imagine bathing with lotion.
Imagine bathing with lotion.
Texture.
So her hair is definitely afro textured. It's definitely shrinky. She definitely has, I don't really care for the hair typing thing anymore, because there's just too many factors to hair in general to put somebody in like a hard and fast category of the hair typing chart. But if we're going to just, for visual examples, she definitely has type 4 hair. Like, that is not a question.
It's not an opinion.
It's just
fact, my hair.
But because we've been so aggressive with taking care of her hair, and she puts forth the effort to wash it weekly or a couple times a week, like I'd say like once or twice a week.
Yeah.
You wash your hair? Okay. So she puts forth the effort, I would say, over the last year and a half to cleanse and condition her hair at least once a week. She uses professional products. She keeps up with her trends now. Like she does what I recommend for her to do. And just me as a professional, I can see the difference in her hair. Like I said, when I first started doing her hair, it was more of like a zigzag, like real coarse. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, the first time I did your hair actually cut my finger.
What?
Like, I promise. I was doing your twist out, and I like twisted and swiped my finger down your hair, and I got a paper cut.
Oh my
because
God.
Your hair was like that, like coarse and dry. And now it's like, it has a curl, it holds on to water, and it just does what it's supposed to do, to the point where, setting her wash and goes are a breeze, because her hair is so hydrated that it just falls into place. But it took a year and a half to get to this place. And of course, we're still on a journey, me and her, with her hair, and it's getting better, and it's going to continue to get better. But it definitely took some time. I definitely think there is a conversation to be had behind what we as Black people deem Afro-textured hair. And I often want to ask why so many of us believe that Afro-textured hair and tightly textured hair can't have a curl to it. Somebody told you that 4C hair is supposed to be zigzag, and it's not supposed to have a coil to it, and it's supposed to be wiry and unruly and rough. And as a professional, I'm telling you that that's not always the truth. There are some people definitely who just genetically don't have a curl pattern. Even with type 4, like tightly coiled hair, their hair more so waves. But it's not, like you guys said, it's not a general rule of thumb that because you're Black and you have type 4 coarse hair, that your hair isn't capable of curling, or your hair has to be super wiry or rough or anything like that. It's not a hard and fast rule. It is very possible, like I keep saying, that your hair is simply dehydrated or it's low porosity, and those things are not permanent. They can be changed and they can be fixed. And I know you guys don't like to hear it, but the best way to do that is to just get better at washing your hair and putting water.
This one I think it would just be redundant, but I just have to say it. You are wrong, period. For me and my family, it's working very well. This is the new blah blah to became. It's not working for you. Sad. All caps. For you. Sad.
I just want to ask y'all. You know, I'll be reading the comments of this video. Please don't come to my Instagram and get rude in my inbox. Don't do that. I'm a very nice person. I'm just trying to share information. But I want to know what it is about oils that you guys feel that you cannot live without. What is it? For me, you know, when I found out about how to better take care of your hair, and I was like, yo, all I got to do is shampoo, condition, and put, like, at the time I was using a leave-in conditioner and a gel, and I got to a point where I could only use a gel. But at that moment, I was like, I just got to wash, condition, and detangle, use a leave-in conditioner, and use a gel, and that's it.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds amazing. Because it took my wash day from 4 hours to an hour and a half.
I literally said that in my video, too.
And it sometimes, I mean, I understand it because I was a little bit resistant to not using oils at first, but I did not hold on to it the way a lot of you guys do, and I'm having trouble understanding why that is. So I mean, I guess if you guys can answer the question,
leave it in the comments.
Leave it in the comments and let me know what it is about letting go of the oils that is so, I don't know if it's scary for you, or I guess I'm trying to understand why it upsets you guys so much at the idea of having a simpler wash day routine. I would really love to know what it is, and not to be like shady or anything. I'm just trying to, you know, understand.
Interesting comment. So it says, it's super interesting. I have my own routine that seems to really work for my hair. It feels kind of in between, and if I'm consistent, actually does wonders for my hair. She doesn't actually go into what she does, so I don't really know.
Okay.
One thing I do think is kind of devoid of this discussion is the kind of water too, because not everyone lives with the same kind of quality of water in their area.
That's very true.
If you're living in a place with harder water quality, I think that plays a role in your skincare, and I assume your hair care too. Just something I thought about. That's a very good point.
That's a very, very good point. I know for me, we live in South Florida, and the water here is pretty terrible. So for a lot of my clients, I do have hard water treatments that I do, which is why, again, I recommend that if you're able to, that you partner with a stylist. And when I say partner with a stylist, I don't mean just go sit in anybody's chair. I mean, you know, if they offer consultations, take one. You know, pay for a consultation with a stylist in your area and ask the questions. You know, I have hard water at my house. There's a lot of minerals in my water. There's a lot of calcium buildup. Do you offer hard water treatments, or do you offer treatments to remove the minerals from my hair? And those things definitely help with how your hair sets, how your hair is able to absorb water, and just over time, just the general health of your hair. Having hard water or just terrible water quality can definitely have a huge effect on your hair. But again, just like with porosity and with your hair being dehydrated, when it comes to oil, it's not a hard and fast rule, and it's not something that's permanent. It may just take a little bit of time to remove all the minerals from your hair or get your hair into a place where it's healthy.
Question. What about the people who live in the middle of nowhere and can't get to a stylist? What would you suggest to those people? Or they just live in an area where there's no good natural hair stylist?
Okay, yes. So for people who don't have access to a professional stylist, the brand that I use, they have my favorite clarifying shampoo, and they also the hard water treatment that I use. The brand is Malibu C, and the website is malibuc.com. And if you go under the hair remedies tab, they have different options for like hard water. And if you have blonde hair, if you have like scalp issues, they have different options that you can choose from there. And they're very inexpensive. But they're literally just like little packs of crystallized powders. You follow the instructions, put it in your hair, follow the instructions, and just continue with your hair care that way.
And I'll put that link in the description box. Okay, so I have like 2 more comments and then we can wrap this up. So let's see. So I'm supposed to put hair gel in my hair every time I wash it. Hard pass. LOC is not canceled. It works for me, and that's what I'm sticking to, period.
So you don't want to put gel in your hair every time you wash your hair, but you put oil in your hair every time you wash your hair. So
You know what? I think a lot of people have an aversion to gels for some reason. And
I understand it. There are a lot of gels that can be very dry. Eco-styler. There are low quality gels. There are gels that make your hair super crunchy. They make your hair super flaky. But there are, again, you guys, due diligence in doing your own research. I want you guys to go and Google botanical gels or Google water-based gels, or, go to your favorite, natural hairstylist. As some of them will not provide the information. I get that. But some people will let you know the types of gels that they use. Trying out a botanical gel, trying out a water-based gel, trying out a better quality shampoo is not going to hurt you because you've already spent hundreds of dollars on products that don't work anyway.
Every single time.
Yeah. So every time you wash your hair, you style it. So just use a different styling product. That's all that's all professionals are telling you to do. Instead of using a butter or a cream, the reason why professionals would tell you, especially for twist outs and wash and goes, to not use a cream is because creams don't have any hold to them. There are some creams that have a very light hold, and I think those would work better in areas where the humidity isn't so bad. But if you want a style that has longevity, if you want a style that sets, oftentimes creams don't have hold, and they also don't dry. So even if you sit under a dryer, or you say you set your twist out or your braid out or your rod set, you go to sleep, you wake up, you think it's dry. It feels dry, yes, but the product within itself does not dry down the way a gel does. So you pull your hair out and you have this beautiful twist out for 30 minutes while you're inside the house. And as soon as you walk outside, your hair shrinks up and it's just a poofy mess. And it's because certain products aren't made for what you're asking it to do, if that makes sense. Gels and styling foams are made to be heat activated by a dryer, and they're meant to set the hair in a certain way. Oils, butters, and creams don't do that. So you may not get the result that you want, or you may find yourself frustrated because you set a twist out and it only lasts for 12 hours, if that, or you set your wash and go and it immediately puffs up, and it's because you're asking a product to do what it wasn't made to do, you're using the product incorrectly, or you're using the wrong product overall. So yes, every time you wash your hair, style it with a gel.
Or a foam, right?
Or a foam.
If you are
if
just
you want to use a foam,
completely against gels.
If you are that girl and your hair can handle a styling foam, the Doux, they make an amazing styling foam. Design Essentials all makes an amazing styling foam. Try it. You'll love it.
So this comment is kind of long, but I'm kind of going to shorten it a little bit. She basically said that I think your hair needs to be in a certain condition. She or he needs to be in a certain condition for this to work. That Olaplex could be playing a huge role in it. It's just like when your body's at its healthiest, you don't need a bunch of pills and supplements to maintain it as you did before, as long as you stay hydrated, exercise, and eat well. So basically what she said is your hair might need to be in a certain condition for this method, this 3-step method that we're calling it, to work.
It does, because we'll use your hair as an example again. When I told her to just wash, condition, and use gel, I feel like you genuinely hated me for 3 months.
I was just like,
because she was just like,
she's crazy.
What? And I was like, bro, just keep at it. Just keep at it. I gave her the Olaplex products. I gave her, some conditioning packs, and she was just like, I don't like this. And I was like, bro, just keep doing it. I know, I was like, I know it sucks. I know you hate your hair right now. I know. I understand. But just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
Keep swimming.
And then we made it through the first 30 days, and she messaged me, and she was just like, okay, I like this Olaplex shampoo. And I was like, I know.
The shampoo I liked from the start. It was
the step 3 in the conditioner that you didn't really care for. But over time, it just got to a point where she was like, Olaplex is that girl, because Olaplex is that girl. With any professional product that you use, again, that's why I don't like to recommend products. And even when I have clients come in for their first or second visit, I don't lead out with recommending products, because you're not at a place yet where product brand needs to be your focus. Typically, where I start with somebody is, how are you detangling your hair? How often do you wash your hair? How are you washing your hair? Do you clarify? How are you styling? What steps do you take when you're washing your hair? Do you just ball it up? I'm actually taking a class with Cut It Kinky right now, and they call it the Tresemme method, where, back in those old commercials, the chick would be in the video and she's just doing whatever to her hair. So do you wash your hair like that, or do you smooth it out? There are a ton of little steps to taking care of your hair that people don't really think are that big of a deal that end up making a huge difference when it comes to how you style your hair, how long the style sets, how long it takes you to wash, condition, and detangle. You know, with a lot of my clients, we have to start at the very bottom, and the very bottom is, how are you shampooing your hair? And a lot of people don't know how to shampoo their hair. They don't realize that the shampoos that they're using for specific reasons are not what they should be using. So we'll say somebody has dandruff, they have psoriasis, they have dermatitis, and they're using a regular moisturizing shampoo and complaining that they're not getting all of the, you know, the flakes and the buildup off of their scalp. It's because the product that you're using was not intended for that purpose. So if you're looking to get buildup off of your hair and you're using a moisturizing shampoo, you're going to be unsatisfied with the result because you should be using a clarifying shampoo. If you're trying to clean your scalp or soothe your scalp or, you know, rebalance it and help with dandruff or whatever other scalp issues that you're using, and you're using a clarifying or a moisturizing shampoo or a no sulfate shampoo, you're not going to get the results that you want because you're not using the product that you should be using. Stylists like myself and hundreds of other stylists across the country, across the world, you know, we're finding out all of this information and we're super excited to share it with you guys because we want to make hair care easier for you. We don't want you to spend an entire Sunday in the bathroom washing your hair and hating your hair or having panic and anxiety attacks because you're detangling and you don't know what you're doing and your hair is a mess because you haven't had a haircut in 2 years. Like, the point of us telling you to only shampoo, condition, and use one styler is because we want to make it easier for you and we want to foster an environment where you can love your hair. So, you know, just let's everybody just put the knives away. You know, let's relax a little bit. Let's try not to be so prickly and defensive when people tell you to not use oil. Like, you know, nobody's demanding that you do this. It's just a suggestion. You know, if your hair is dehydrated, scientifically, this is why your hair is dehydrated, and you can either follow it or you don't. I mean, you really don't have to. But the information is what the information is, and fact is fact. And if you choose to take it, great. You know, people like me, plenty of other stylists all over the place, you know, hair influencers who have the right information. We're here to help you. But if you don't want to take it, you don't have to take it. But, you know, let's try not to be so rude about it.
Actually, this one might be a good one. For those of us who like installing passion twists, and this is going to be the last one. Mm-hmm. So for those of us who like installing passion twists and box braids, how would you do this lighter method? Worry about my hair getting damaged if I don't use some kind of butter for extra moisture.
Butter does not moisturize.
Simple as that.
So I think that people don't realize that you can wash your hair with these protective styles in. And I also think that in general, people tend to leave their protective styles in way too long. It's supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks. Some people, quite like myself, for pretty much all of the pandemic, I had faux locks in. I'm a hairstylist. I think I'm pretty good at what I do, but sometimes I be treating my hair all types of crazy. So my faux locks were definitely in, when I did have hair, were definitely in way too long. And my hair suffered because of it. And it's part of the reason why I went bald. Because, you know, I spend so much time helping you guys that I don't oftentimes have the patience to take care of my own hair. So I just said, screw it, and cut my hair off because it was damaged beyond belief. And it was just very dehydrated. And I didn't feel like putting the effort in after being at work all day. I didn't feel like putting the effort in to take care of my own hair. That was just my choice. As far as protective styles go, I think that you should aim to have your style in for 4 weeks, no more than 6. And I also recommend washing your hair during that time. So when you're washing your hair in a protective style, I would recommend getting a bottle with like a spout on it or a nozzle. And you want to dilute your shampoo in some water, stand in the shower and put it on your scalp. And just rub the spaces between the braids. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to scrub, nothing like that. And make sure you get it into the braid itself and like squeeze and rinse your hair really well. Same thing with your conditioner. And then after that, you can use your spray leave-in conditioner. And if you're still experiencing a little tightness, it's one of the few times that I would say that I like putting oil on the scalp just because, again, oil is a lubricant. So it can help with that like tight feeling from braids. You can use a little bit of oil, you tie it down. If you have a dryer, you sit under the dryer. If you don't have a dryer, Try to towel dry to the best of your ability and let it air dry. But I do definitely recommend washing your hair when you have these installs in. Then when it comes time to taking your hair down, also be super gentle, because I know a lot of you aren't going to listen to anything that I have to say, and you're going to leave your braids in for 3, 4, 5 months, and your hair is going to be dehydrated. It just is what it is. You know, my clients do it all the time. It just, y'all do what y'all want to do. It's fine. But when you do decide to take those braids out, please, you know, a lot of breakage comes because you pull your braids out and you're just quick to comb through it and you're super aggressive with your ends. People forget that the ends of your hair are the oldest part of your hair, which means it's the most sensitive. And that's why it's the most susceptible to breakage. So if you're going to leave your braids in for a long time, or even if just in general, when you're pulling your braids out, you want to make sure you detangle from the ends going upwards. And also if you have that like buildup at the base, that you kind of take your fingers, not so much a comb, don't use a comb. Take your fingers and separate it first. And me personally, I like to keep a spray bottle to kind of dampen the hair a little bit and like use my fingers to pull that out, and then use like a Felicia Leatherwood brush is my favorite personal brush to use to slowly detangle your hair. If nothing else, you could use the LOC method, style your hair with shea butter, dunk your head into a vat of castor oil if you want. Fine, whatever. I would just recommend, if you don't listen to anything else that I say, I would say be gentle with your hair. Society tells us that black hair, because it's coarse and because it's coily and it's wiry, it's the strongest hair and it can stand up to anything. And it is the exact opposite. Because of the structure of our hair and the way that it coils, the natural, you know, moistures and oils and stuff like that our hair makes, it's harder for it to travel down the strand of our hair. And our hair is more susceptible to breakage. It's more susceptible to dryness. I would just say to take your time with it. Be patient with your hair. Take your hair in sections that you can handle. If that means that you need to split your hair down the middle and then split each side into 4 in order for you to detangle your hair, do that. Just take your time with your hair. Be kind to it. Be kind to your edges. Like, you know, when you use edge control, especially when you have braids in, use a water-based edge control. And then at night when you wash your hair, take a wet rag and clean your edges off and just do them again in the morning. There's just a bunch of little steps that you can take to just overall care about your hair and help you retain length and, you know, help you better treat your hair. My goal personally as a stylist is just for people to be nicer to their hair in general. And in order to be nice to your hair, you have to keep it clean. So wash it.
Thank you so much, Jaleesa. That was freaking amazing. I
try my best.
I hope that this, you know, answers some of your questions, concerns. I hope this was helpful. You know, I feel like this video is like the only natural hair video you ever need to watch. This is it right here. This is all the information that you could ever need. No, I'm kidding.
We can do a part 2 at some point. If people have more questions, I'm
absolutely
super open to doing a part 2.
Please. If you have any questions, if you have anything else to add to the conversation, please leave them in the comment section down below, and we'll be happy to do a part 2. Yeah, you know, if you got some more that you want us to say, we're happy to do another one. So let us know in the comments down below. Share this with your stubborn friend who does not want to put the shea butter down, or with anyone who is just going natural and has no idea what's going on. I feel like this would be a great video for them to watch. You know, just share the video, okay? Help your girl out. I need to pay the bills. So,
can I plug my Instagram?
Of course.
Oh my God, y'all follow me on Instagram. It's styled, STYLED by Ja. I'm gonna have her put it in the description below because I'm a fake YouTuber. You feel me? Follow me on Instagram.
Yes, make sure you guys go follow her. Okay, she's amazing. As you guys know, y'all always talking about how healthy my hair looks.
You're welcome.
It's her. Okay, I just do what she says. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. My handle is @JanelleSaClarXO, and all of that information will be in the description box down below. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.